promise you got it right. This one. Just gonna give it a few minutes for viewers to come. Please bear with us, we'll soon be with you. You can share the video, those of you that just coming on, please. Invite somebody, tag somebody. Goodbye. Alright, let's see, it's a very, very good afternoon to you all. Just trying to share the video, so just give me a couple of minutes, seconds or so.
What's the name of this few text messages?
Maxson.
Huh?
Maxson.
Maxson. That's the WhatsApp. This better mixer, sir. Max M-U-X.
K as initial. M-I-X-E-R.
P initial.
And M-I-X-E-R last name.
M-I-X-E-R.
M-I-X-E-R.
So you kick out the punctuation mark. This Max K mixer on WhatsApp, right?
WhatsApp. Facebook. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, guys.
Have you sent text messages?
It's a very, very good afternoon to all of you. And if you're just waking up, let's say good morning to you. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. We are on the platform of Justice Forum out there. And of course, indeed, we're also in the company of Madam Cynthia Sherman. Many of you, as you can see the caption there, for some of you, for many of you, she's familiar, you know her. For some of you, by how you get to, you're just about to know her as well. Mrs. Sherman, for some of you who know, in 2016 or so, a tragic incident took place in which, of course, lost her daughter. And many of us, of course, were in the diaspora. Or heard of this story, we decided to champion it and get in as well to raise awareness and call for, help us to call for justice for the perpetrator to be brought to book. I'm going to take you a little bit back to the synopsis of this story. Why we have her here, we will go into that later. And so you can get to know as to maybe why she has been silent a little bit. Because some of you been asking, even on social media, on Facebook especially, where is Madam Sherman? And some of you have been expressing concern as well, which I must applaud you guys for being concerned. Because if we are concerned with one another or about each other, I think the good thing is we'll be able to also fight for their safety and their security. So you guys been doing well. Please share the video. If you get somebody to tag, you can tag them as well. But before we bring in Madam Sherman, we are going to read to you the genesis of how her daughter got murdered. Yes, she got murdered. And perhaps for some of you that have never ever come across this story, the synopsis of what you're going to hear and with what she will be telling us, then you will actually get in the picture of it. But this wasn't, it was a very, very tragic story, and for some of us, though, for me, I was far out, but I thought It was one of my sisters actually that happened to. And because of this, was one of those that stood the test of time, and we are asking questions almost every day. What is happening, and engaging the government, relevant institutions to intervene. Let's see the end of this particular story. Odell Sherman is no more, but I think justice for Odell Sherman, her family, especially her mother, is paramount. It must be paramount to all of us, especially those of us who actually feel that life is precious and all of us should celebrate life. And so I want to take you back a little bit on how, when that news broke out, how things were. To be honest with you, this is tough even for me, because myself, I'm very emotional. I'm that very lazy man that is very emotional. An interview like this, sometimes it can really get at me big time. But because I really, really, really want to know, some of you also really want to know, we will hold our hearts and try to dry our tears so we can tell the story. That's why we beg her to come today, so that we can hear from her. If there's any additional story on new stories new leads that we have to follow. Also, as advocates, we have to follow those new leads to see whether she can have justice. So please continue to share the video, especially those of you that are humanitarian. But let me take you on this story in a front page Africa. I think it was published on May 27, 2019. Probably it was about a year and the genesis of this. And this one actually is come from the reverend that was involved in it, or that stay involved. And this is a quotation, the headline. They say, "I struggle to understand what happened. Reverend Giddens recalls incident of student death." And he's talking about the late student Odell Sherman. Let me just draw this story out so we can read it. The draw zone, Mikey County. Reverend Emmanuel Giddens, a man considered by the Liberian National Police as a person of interest in the unexplained death of a student last week, has squashed speculations that the deceased was gang raped on his property while narrating his account of the incident. Speaking to reporters at his Dwazon residence in Mikey County on Sunday, Reverend Giddens recalled that about a month ago, one of his daughters, a 12th grader, asked him to permit her to hold a steady camp with her classmates in his home for the wife's exams. As hesitant as he was to accept, she persisted and successfully convinced him that they would stay in the guest room of his building that is under construction, located at the back of his current home. So I went and bought them 3 mattresses, and that was the part I played in getting the children together for the camp, Reverend Giddens explains. The only other encounters I had with them when they came to me and complained about hunger, and then I would give them money to buy food. The girls continued with their exams activities until May the 21st, when the dreadful incident occurred. It was on the morning of May 20th, as I was getting ready to go to work. My daughter came to me and made an additional request he recalls. She told me that they were finishing their works on that morning and that I should please give her permission for she and her friends to go out together. Initially, I discouraged the idea and told her that it was not necessary and that they should wait and see the result, and upon graduation then we can celebrate. But his daughter again convinced him that her colleagues' parents had given permission and that they had already saved some money for their entertainment. He delayed his permission but would later agree. I discouraged it again, but she pleaded so passionately that her friends were all excited to be together that evening. So I told her that I will give you 3 hours. If you leave at 8 o'clock, be back at 11. After his daughter went out with her friends, he went to his pool room to play, a recreation he does most evenings. He was later joined by a couple of friends. He said, after several games, his friends left, so he opted to take a shower before bed. But realizing that it was after midnight and the girls were not back from, he was upset and made several calls to them. While he was on the phone, his son then informed him that one of his daughter's friends was bleeding and lying in the unfinished house. I thought it was epilepsy or something, because when a person has a seizure, they can fall down. He said of his instant reaction to the incident. According to him, the girl was lying under the stairs with blood oozing from around her head. I got so upset immediately. I couldn't lift her up because of the condition of my arm. So I told Abraham to go and call the neighbors. He said, that's Reverend Giddens is now talking. In a couple of minutes, the yard was filled with neighbors. He said, and the girl, apparently unconscious, was put on his car and taken to the ELW hospital. Guys, I want you to listen to this story. And some of you can continue to comment about it as well. At the hospital, doctors insisted that they wouldn't treat the girl unless they had her details or know her medical history. But Gideon said, as confused as he was, he pleaded with the nurses. Then they asked me for her name, and then I realized that I didn't even know her name. So the nurses said they couldn't do anything until they have her F history. He said as he kept pleading with the nurses, he began making several calls to his daughters whose cell phones were off. He then drove back to his house. That is from the hospital now. He then drove back to his house, which is about 4 miles away from the hospital. That's ELW to his house. Picked up his daughters, and they drove back to the hospital. But about an hour later, they were informed that the girl had died. I cried that night because it would have been my daughter. She was in the age range of my daughter. He says sobbing. I struggled to understand what happened. Reverend Giddens recalls how he struggled to understand what happened, asking himself how the girl got in the house, what caused her death. And when he interrogated his daughter the next morning, She replied that the deceased was not one of the 8 girls that had camped at the house for a month, even though she was a classmate of theirs. According to him, his daughter told him that the deceased had earlier in the day of the incident asked to hang out with them since they were all celebrating the conclusion of the exams. During their night out, the deceased had left the daughter and the other girls at the pub, came at his home when she was later discovered lying helplessly. When I asked the security, how did this girl get here? He told me that when she knocked at the gate and he asked who was that, she identified herself as one of the children studying with my daughter. Since he didn't know all of the girls by face, he said he told her, when you go out, close the gate behind you. The next morning, the police arrived at Gideon's residence, even though he did not inform them about the incident. That's almost the editorial, maybe about 15 hours now, guys. Apparently, it was the hospital that informed the police. He said, I would have called the police if I knew it was death. I almost want to stop here and just make it a little bit, but let me continue. This thing, is somebody dealing with somebody like, the whole nation is stupid. I would have called the police if I knew it was death. I thought the kid, this is the Odell Sherman I'm talking about, I thought the kid simply was drunk and she passed out and hurt herself. She may come to herself tomorrow morning. He said he had thought. So I did what any parent would do. You see a child hurt in your house, you are not thinking about all the protocols involved in law enforcement and if there was a crime. So the idea about calling the police didn't occur to me because somebody was hurt in my yard. So I took the decision any logical parent would do. I wouldn't do that. I personally wouldn't do that. He was later taken to the Zone 8 police station the next day when he wrote a statement in the presence of his lawyer, and the police considered him as a person of interest. But he was charged with an offense. Medical report is urgent. The police have since said it is investigating the incident, but Reverend Gideon is confident that a medical report will exonerate him of any wrongdoing. He, however, said he has since tried to avoid the hospital after paying the medical bill the next day because it is not my child and I don't think I am entitled to medical reports until all of the reports are in. Then I can ask for a copy. He said, I think the report is crucial. I think it is urgent. It should happen as soon as possible to clear the air, and the damages on social media are difficult to control, but the public sentiment that is gathering needs to be brought into perspective, and the hospital report, death certificate, and the police report. All of that needs to be consolidated. So what exactly happened? My concern is I need to be exonerated. I need to be exonerated. Okay, we go further down. I want to share this story with some of you. Let's get the genesis of it. As speculations about the death of student Odell Sherman continues, mainly on social media, Reverend Gideon says he has engaged her parents in a bid to express sympathy and show support. When they met, according to him, The atmosphere was civil, calm, and the interaction with the family was welcoming. He refused allegations that he had asked the family to abandon the investigation into the cause of death while promising to support the burial of the deceased. We feel empathy and sympathy for the family, and I will ensure that the child is given a befitting burial. Reverend Gideon said. Now, it's part of some of the stories what happened when the incident took place, and it led to the death of a young lady, promising lady, and it left scars for many of us, including the mother that is here with us here. But I thought to just read a story to you so some of you guys can be reconnected. Since we have the opportunity today to talk to Madam Sherman. It's going to be difficult. It is difficult as we started. But we encourage her to engage with us as well. Madam Sherman, let's take it easy by easy, and I feel strong a little bit by the grace of God. The God that been keeping you awake, and be keeping your life to stay with you. But let's start off first of all by asking you. When people say you've been quiet for quite a long time, and some even in the diaspora who are being behind you, who can't get you directly, but they have to get you indirectly through some people. They have not been able to get you as well. But I think it's a great initiative today for you to agree to come. I have to engage with them as well. How has it been so far, and why have you decided today to take time off?
Thank you, Max. It has not been easy, and it is not easy. It has never ever been easy, and it is not easy. I tried to even find closures, but there's no way that I can find closures because we were denied justice. We were denied justice for every aspect from this case. All because all of the evidence were pointing to Reverend Guinness, Emmanuel Guinness. So government fought in every way to deny us justice to every levels. It is so heartbroken, and I have to leave my home because there were a lot of threatening messages sent to me, threatening to destroy my life, and I was so afraid. That's how I even escaped, and I've been keeping myself in hiding. And I was not willing to show myself all until, by God's grace, one day, and what I told them was that when the police said they closed up this case, I told them that was not true. The case of Odell Sherman will never die like any other cases in this country. Because this mother of Odell Sherman, she only had one daughter in her whole life. And she's not willing to cover all the truth. She's not willing to settle down for anything but for justice. So Odell Sherman case will never ever die down. It's just a matter of time. For everything you read from Guinness, they are all lies and misleading information. That is not the truth. It is far from the truth. Very, very far from the truth. The death of Odell was pre-calculated by Reverend Guinness. He's saying that he was not aware that Odell was camping in his fence. That's misleading information. He was aware. Odell lived right behind his compound. At the time she was alive. In the St. Dwasser community for 2 good years. With my junior sister. She lived there for 2 good years. Even Odell was on his scholarship. He got one scholarship from Ghana. They call it Ghana Liberia Scholarship. Where he offered it to people. Odell was on his scholarship. In the very Methodist school that he's also pastor of. Reverend of.
So many. He's supposed to know her name.
He knows her. He knew Odell very well. But he never knew that Odell had a mother like this. He only knew Odell to live for her auntie who is very, very weak. He did not know Odell's mother. My daughter even died before they saw me. When she left Congoton and chose to move to her aunt, I was not happy about it. I told her, how can you leave Congoton to go to Dwasson? Say you want to be with your aunt there, be there, or else you come back to me. She was there, so I was not going there. So who knew that Odell had the kind of potential mother? All of her background investigation was done. They only knew her auntie to be living, one they made shit, one they zin run. So anybody could harm her. Choosing to leave your young parents and moving to sisters like my sister that who even had time for anything much. When the case of Odell even came out, they drew back. Publicly, the public, and we're not part of Odell case again anymore because black car chasing her. Those were the people she chose to go to. Those were the people she chose to go to. But knowing the fact that a biological child still a child can't want me. I have to put my life on the risk. I wanted justice for my daughter. They withdrew, but I never withdrew. That was how Odell death came up. She left private school and went to other school now to start taking a scholarship from Reverend Guinea. You know how many people have fallen victim of this scholarship? You know how many people have been live, strong and enter in that company and they can't come out alive? But my daughter chose that path. And she went to Dwasson. Can't eat Guinea's face. For good woman, they wrote that was for good woman. At the completion of that was, it was when they chose to put $500 together to go out to release that stress according to them. While she was with her friend, the very Guinea's children, Guinea and the security left in his compound. By 11 p.m., her last post of Odell, I still got it in my phone, was 11:15. That was her last post. She received this call right after her last post. She left, got on motorbike, went straight into the compound. Healthy, no alcohol. According to the security, I'm quoting directly from the security, she had 1 can of alcohol drink in her hand, but she did not open it. She pointed upon the gate, and the security asked, who's there? She said, I'm Odell Sherman. That's how the security opened the gate, because he knew this Odell Sherman. She had been there for a whole month, according to her own testimony. When Odell entered the compound, the doors were backing out. Odell told him, say, but Papa, hold the doors. You know I have front of the door. If that place that she had not gone, she will order the Papa like that. No. She told the Papa, hold the door. You know I have front of the doors. That's how the Papa said, okay, I will control them. You take that road and go. Odell, he was signed, man. Her body was working when she entered in that place with all alcohol. After 1 hour to 2 hours, my daughter was raped and murdered. Like they took her and put her under their step. To create a story like they say, she fell from on top of the step. And lie her under the step in the pools of blood. If anybody said that blood came from the head of Odell, it's false and misleading. Blood was washing all the Odell private parts, or anus and vagina. I got a video right now in this room. I shared the video with other people in the diaspora and I told them to keep it now to put it on Facebook. Odell bled for 32 hours even when she was there lying in the mortuary of ELW hospital. You can see the blood still gushing out of that dead body because he destroyed the anus and the vagina. Why would somebody say blood came from the head of Odell? I got Odell or X-ray result. There was no scratch on her head. It was in her left ear. Apparently he put an iron in her left ear. And just a little amount of blood came, or just a little. Not even something like a wet this or stuff. But for Odell anus and her vagina, everything came out. Why today the government is denying DNA? Because evidence is pointing to somebody that's so connected to them. Guinea took her lifeless body from in the compound lying that he sent his children to go call community. No community people knew that boy. He took my daughter's body when she entered by 11, by 1 a.m. He called the security, help me, let's put this lifeless body in the car. The security said, no, I can't do that because he's a security. He's conscious. He said, no, I can't do that. The police need to be informed. We can't remove blood. He left in his boss and told his son, they took the lifeless body and put it to the back of his car. And they took her to EWX hospital. The child that he said he did not know, he could not call his daughters to identify her. He committed another crime, giving her different identities. He gave my daughter different identity, leaving the Odell Sherman. You say you did not know how for the security that she introduced herself to when she was outside the gate. Why didn't you ask the security to give her phone name to you? When you went and took different name and gave it to my daughter that if she had just died quietly, she could just be buried quietly and nobody would know about it. All they know she got off and she left her, she got drunk and died off. But to God be all the glory that somebody there knew my daughter. But the identity that he gave to my daughter, that person never knew her again anymore. Until the economic teacher was able to tell my junior sister. And the news they brought her because they are all faking her, including the economic teacher, because he also in this Guinness school said that my daughter went on and got drunk with her friends. She was overdrunk. She fell from upstairs to where they went to the entertainment center. She fell from upstairs. That was not true. That was false and misleading. When they broke, when we got the information to EWX hospital, that's how the laboratory technician said, oh, is that Odell that gave him broiler this morning and gave her different identity? I just could not make up Odell because the name he gave to the girl. Gideon was always in the hospital. He never avoided EWX hospital. That is why EWX hospital lost its integrity. EWX hospital should have been an independent body because we know EWX from the day we were kids to be a Christian hospital. But today, EWX has lost every integrity. Everything they own. Because the case of Odell, they did not wait to see how the mother was going to react, whether the mother would accept Brad to do what they wanted to do. They didn't wait. And at that time, my pastor, Reverend Joseph Gade, he was pounding upon me to not speak to no press.
Your pastor? My
Reverend Joseph Gade Johnson. He told me not to speak to no press, even though he knew that was I shouldn't flag on this issue. I was quiet for 21 good days. I was about to conduct the autopsy. There was no police report given to me. There was no crime scene. I was always following on their police line. And they never even arrested Emilia Guinness. When the community people themselves decided to protest, they sent people to man Emilia Guinness. Emilia Guinness was heavily protected in Liberia. First of a kind. How wicked these people are. How wicked. Emilia Guinness was heavily protected. Instead of them protecting the victim family, but Emilia Guinness was heavily protected. The government of Liberia gave Emilia Guinness protection over everybody. He was so proud. Emilia Guinness almost left Pali living here at the hospital and the police station. Because this Emilia Guinness that we are speaking about, I understand he's a sedition. He supported the campaign heavily. And he also a first cousin to the vice president of the Republic of Liberia, Juan Howard Taylor. And this guy brings a lot of money in this country. He brings so many money in this country. So how could a woman like me, who didn't even have a dime, to stand against this guy? But I didn't care for that. To God be the glory, I have people that wanted justice also like me. In Liberia and all of Liberia. I was so disappointed about the women in Liberia during this case. Those people became so cold and quiet. When I was crying, keep telling them, Odell Sherman is the only daughter of my life. She's gone. But yet I'm still sitting, calling for justice because there are other Odell Sherman out there. You people out there, you got your children. This thing that happened, the person still out there looking for another victim. Join me. Let us stand against who have done this. Cynthia Sherman only want justice for all of our children. And how many women stood for me in this Liberia? I'm not talking about the diaspora women. They did well. They did well. But in this Liberia, those women in Liberia kept quiet. Just few handful of people was with me. Even when we went off for the protest, we were just students. And I said it. Odell Sherman case will not be the first, it will not be the last. Because y'all are showing me no concern. Today, babies have been raped. After Odell case, do you know how many people have been raped? They are even tampered with little boys. Because the perpetrator is still up there and being protected. I feel so broken. But to God be the glory for us. He was able to find me in my little hole. Because of justice, I have to leave my home and have myself in a little hole. And today, he able to muster the courage within me to sit before you. It's not easy. That there were all of the evidence that would bring up the proof who raped Odell. The hospital gave a first report, the cause of death. There were two things on the cause of death. Number one, sexual assault. Number two, because Guinea registered that my daughter fell from upstairs. So they said 40. Question mark was placed there because they don't know which one I killed her. How do we know which one I killed Odell? It was for the pathology. Because the way the government handled the case, there was no arrest, no crime scene report. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. No photo from the crime scene. Even the way his son saw my daughter lying in the pools of blood, there was no time we ever saw that pools of blood. When Guinea dumped my daughter's body at the ELW hospital, he was going that pools of blood, God mercy. And no police ever talk about that. How can you just get received call? You can't go for a call. I cried in this country and I cried and I almost cried on my eyes. I got heartache that nobody could touch my chest because my heart was bleeding and was broken into 20 or 1,000 pieces. Because seeing the kind of a country that we're in, looking at a woman that had lost her 21, do you think our future is gone? I could only be happy again if we have gotten justice. I could help myself, but today, I'm nobody. ELW was able to destroy their own image. Can you imagine ELW hospital gave us 3 different medical reports? Can you imagine that? When ELW brought out the cause of death, Imaya Guinness went back to the hospital and said, no, this is not what you're supposed to do. Why don't you put sexual assault? And that little girl's body was still in the mortuary for 32 hours and bleeding. Why shouldn't they put it there? People have gone there, surveillance have gone there to see. Surveillance took photos of that, the recordings. Ear never came up with a second medical report that there was just a pool of blood from her ear. I visited Ear David Hospital and they refused to give me my daughter's medical report. And I told them, why? Who told you not to give it to me? They said the police, according to the administrator, want another Reverend again. Reverend James K. Freeman. But then I was still with my Reverend and 2 other pastors, with my husband and my sister. We went there. He openly said it to us because I told him that day I wanted my daughter's medical report. Why should you keep it? He said, but the police guy, the police said that we should only do draft and give them the draft so that they can peruse the draft before we can come up with the funding. Can you imagine that? If there's a contract? Oh, so instead of hospital now working with the police to do a child medical report for death, my daughter's medical report was written by ELWA hospital because there was no one piece of alcohol found in my daughter. Clean that my daughter drank 3 cans or 10% on Costa Show. That was an accusation. My daughter died today, I'm crying today. The next day you are on Costa Show, Henry Costa Show. Henry carried Guinea there, and Guinea went to level accusation even against the dead. That my daughter drank 3 cans or 10%, which is 30% was in her. Medical report came up. There was no percentage of alcohol. So that other one needed to be changed again. That was how they came up with the police. Police are running after how to destroy somebody's future. You are destroying my future. When should you go and teach medical report again for the third time? And that draft spent more than 2 weeks in the hands of the police. They went and changed everything. Even deny. Can you imagine the third medical report is a mess? When Guinea was on custody, he admitted that he carried my daughter to ERW hospital, but in the third medical report from ERW hospital said that it wasn't Guinea. It wasn't Guinea, but a new young fellow. What is this? Who you think you're helping? You think you're helping Guineas? You are not helping Guineas. You are promoting the country. Just a dinner, it's just not a small thing. And when the person know what is going on, and you think you can tell the author that that was not the best way to work it out. How will you give me medical report from a renowned hospital and say, even we were in a meeting, including my own pastor and the other pastor, and you said that it was Guinea that gave my daughter there, and also Guinea gave my daughter different information, and you wrote it down. Then you tell medical report because I went to the police and the police perused and they took everything from there. Patrick Sulu, Minister of Justice, Musa Dean, they were in cahoots with ERW hospital, said we will give you protection. Say whatsoever thing we want you to say. And write whatsoever thing we want you to write. How can a country run like this? Is this a country? Is this a government or is it a scoreboard? It's not no more the government but a scoreboard. And allow Guinea to be roaming all about. From radio station to radio station. Well, when somebody call him from Joy FM, he won't respond. He will say, you're Henry Costa. Why should they ask Henry Costa? Because he took it to your show and left the victim mother out. He left the victim mother out when I was bleeding. I wrote in, I called him, he never responded to any of my calls. So when any radio station that will interview me, when they ask him, he said, you're asking Henry Costa, he will give information. Is this a country? This is just the beginning. We are not doing anything in this country with rape. Rape will grow sky high in this country because the people are protecting the rapists. The government is protecting the rapists. Can you imagine the Minister of General, Peace of Time? She received all of the documents from us. Even photographic photos. We sent all at the Ministry of General. But there was no time that they ever responded to one. No time that they ever responded to one. When we saw how things were going, it was not going our way. That is how we call for independent pathology. They used that spokesperson Moses Carter, and you were giving us misleading information. In fact, Moses Carter lied on me, Cynthia Sherman. When question was posed to him, he said in the newspaper that Cynthia Sherman gave him the order that my daughter's lifeless body was removed from the compound of Reverend Guinness. Meanwhile, I knew nothing about that. When Guinea dumped my daughter, left the body in ERW hospital, he was gone to go clean out the mess from your house. There's a police guy that went to visit his own patient in the hospital. And the condition of my daughter was in, she was already out of life. She was not living anymore. They had the doctor and the nurses on duty. They invited him that night, that morning, because in the morning hour about 2. He said, well, this thing is not my case. It beyond to it. We need to contact headquarters. They contacted headquarters. Why headquarters did nothing? Guinea just sat down and made calls. Guinea just sat down and made calls and it was just finished. That is how police never arrested Guinea. He was not even invited. There was nothing they published about this case. Why all they said was that Guinea had no link to the death of Odell Sherman. How will you say such a thing? When Odell entered that compound, it was only Guinea and the security. And the security gave a testimony the next day at the LIBERIA National Police Station. According to all that I'm saying from him. And the security also mentioned to them, you guys protect me, you don't send me back. Because now Guinea is laying allegation against me. I want to destroy his character. So he will do something bad to me and my family. But our Liberia National Police allowed for that security to go back. Since then, we are not seeing him. Journalists went looking for the security. We never found him again anymore. That different security while they get. We don't know if he paying or what happened to that security. Because of the wickedness of our justice system in this country.
Cynthia, let me stop you there a little bit. Let me establish something, because the individual in question is a pastor, because according to the title Reverend, and you also belong to a church, and you mentioned your pastor, that your pastor was somehow stopping you from even meeting the media. Do you have any knowledge whether your pastor and Reverend Gideons are friends? Do you have any knowledge?
I got knowledge on that. When my daughter was raped and murdered, somebody left the church and came to my house and told me, because I always put my faith in my pastor at the time. The person told me that, say, Cynthia, don't depend on daddy for this case.
That's Reverend Gardie Johnson.
Reverend Gardie Johnson, don't depend on him for this case. Because this Imaya Guinea and they went to school together. Moreover to that, Joa Howard Taylor that is in our church is Guinea's first cousin. So don't depend on him. But I told the person, no, I will still depend on him. I know he will stand for justice. I know this time that I need him most, he will not let me fall.
Your pastor?
Yes. But then at the middle of the case, and I was denied the day I spoke to journalists, the day I attended the first press conference to lay to office, that morning my pastor spoke evil against me.
Reverend Gardie Johnson.
Yes, that I'm not safe. I have no right to go sit with students. Why should I sit with students when students are wanting justice? What did the Bible say about sharing innocent blood? No one has the right, according to the book of Leviticus, to share another person's blood innocently. And when people in the country that we expect to talk, they are not talking. Why would students not talk? So I had nothing to lose. He even sent the whole church to me to go question me. Why am I talking? I'm calling the vice president. Why should I call the vice president? She got linked with the perpetrator, the accused, that is breaking my heart into pieces. I will always call her name, because not forget her being a vice president for the Republic of Liberia, but being a mother. She being a mother in the church, and I was part of the two prayer teams. See me losing my daughter and broken into 1,000 pieces. That was a full right to even speak for once.
So that means you didn't get any help from your pastor in the church?
Not at all. Not at all. The only help I got from them was to destroy my character. To say things that I had no idea about. Using the pulpit that we all pray on. Reverend Gardie was brave enough to accuse me, Cynthia Sherman, that because I wanted money from Guineas, and Guinea did not give me the money that I'm talking for. Now knowing, he sent Reverend George at my house for settlement, and I told Reverend George, with all due respect, Reverend George, I can't do that.
Right. He wanted you to settle and not
I should settle. Yes.
So that you forget about your
I should forget about the case, and I said, no, I wanted justice. Only justice could help me. Reverend George came to me with Pastor Sowell. When he entered my house, because by then, Reverend Gardie Johnson myself never had thought again, because I knew he never wanted justice for my daughter. Because when my husband questioned in the office, said, well, Danny, you told us not to talk. But our character now, I said, our daughter can die and we're not talking. He said, I maintain my statement. That's why he told my husband. I maintain my statement. I said, shut up, you don't talk. So my husband said, Daddy, with all due respect, we can't do that. People are questioning whether this child is our biological child because we're not talking. Even Pastor Sulu said we are crazy people. So shooting my wife told, he said, I maintain my statement. Nobody talk to anybody. You don't talk to those people in America. You're in Liberia, with New York. He also responded to somebody from America or Otelo Yene. When Otelo talked to me, I told him, he said, talk to my pastor first. Because of too much a level of respect that I have for him. When Otelo spoke to him, the question to Otelo, say Cynthia being Liberia, have you seen one cup of rest before? Are we talking about one cup of rest? Are we talking about justice? They are clean when my daughter left me and went to my solicitor, so what? I still have hope of her coming back home. But once she's raped and murdered, there is no more hope of her coming back home. So the least thing I could do for her, to stand up for justice for her.
Cynthia, let me take you back to the autopsy. part because in such a case, it's a big case, and the only proof is getting professional people involved, especially the report. First of all, how did you get to this point of meeting the president? Because I heard that you met the president, and the president requested that you yourself should bring your own pathologist. Take us through, how was it? Because I remember also that a pathologist by the name of Rockefeller came from, Dr. Rockefeller came from the state, and I was involved in that as well. Take us through, how was it? Did you ever meet the president?
Sure, we met the president, but before meeting the president, it was during the ups and downs with the government of Liberia, the police, the minister of justice. We're not finding nothing when they started to say they're coming to conduct the autopsy by force. I can remember when they called us for that meeting, I told them, no, we can't go through with the autopsy. I can't allow the Liberian pathologist to conduct any autopsy on my daughter. On the ground that, since this lady was raped and murdered, we have not gotten any report. Nothing, no investigation, no suspects. How can you not jump up to autopsy? So no. That's how Moses Carter came and said the government does not have money for that. If you want independent pathology, you bring your own independent pathology. You bring your own independent pathology. With the help of you people in the diaspora, it was when that GoFundMe was open for Odell. Justice for Odell. When that GoFundMe was open, people with a heart like me was able to take that high-end money to put it in that GoFundMe just to get justice for Odell. It was when Dr. Rockefeller came in. He came to Liberia to conduct the autopsy. And I approve for it because I believe those people that sent him over to us. Because they also wanted justice. They were putting in all of that time and our resources. So I believe in him. But when he came to Liberia, there were a lot of things that changed. We even went on the 3rd of July to protest. When the government denied him before even we arrived in Liberia, they had a secret meeting. That when he comes, he will be denied. Even that very Sunday that Dr. Rockefeller arrived in Liberia, my pastor even took the pulpit before he arrived and said that Cynthia lied to the people she will bring pathology, she don't have money. In fact, the pathology not even coming anywhere again. The man wanted a job from the government of Liberia, they ain't getting a job. So he's not coming anywhere. But as God will have it, he arrived that very Sunday night. And Monday morning we went to JFK. He was denied. That when he came, he will be denied. He was denied based on the reason that he never had document to conduct any autopsy in Liberia. He never had any legal document for that. And before Dr. Rockefeller could come, we sent all of his information to the Minister of Justice. His CV and everything. And then they asked me when he will arrive. His time was like 2 to 3 weeks before he came to Liberia. Due to the GoFundMe, the racing. That's how Dr. Rockefeller came to Liberia. But when he came, to my utmost surprise, it was like strange, and then he was denied. And we said we will not accept that.
The government denied
The government denied him. After which, we are given then all of the information about Dr. Rockefeller. They allowed him when he came, he was denied.
Yeah, but that was your private
pathologist.
But why would he?
According to them, he did not have the document to conduct autopsy in Liberia.
Oh, right, okay.
So they denied him. That's how we came to the States still. They wanted the pathology of Liberia to do. I told them no. Again, we went all again for protests. The other student group went all again for protests. Group to meet the president of Liberia. That's how he explained to him. We talked to him, he said that, okay, this, the Minister of Justice and the health people said that he's not correct, he's not fit to do the job, so find your own independent pathology, and then we will only underwrite the costs. That's how I called Dr. Richardson then and Cynthia Sherman and the other people are sending. Dr. Francine Richardson. And then they sent the information out and they were able to get Dr. Roger Michelle.
From the state again?
From the state again.
Okay.
and send me his CV by email. We printed it all, we sent it to them with a cover letter. From the day we sent that CV for a month plus, there was no acknowledgement from the Justice Ministry. No acknowledgement. Student Vic Jones and other student advocates, they went there for any other later information. There was no later information. They did not even acknowledge receipt. To my utmost surprise, they are already going through that deed. Outside of being. Outside of us, who sure are going through the arrangement. And just as the way they went through the arrangement, Dr. Michelle should only come and say that Odell fell down and died. They did their own stress in Liberia and sent it to him in America. How she fell down from, I know, 12 feet. Who was there when she fell down from 12 feet? They sent it to him that he brought to Liberia. He entered in Liberia, he didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, but you're coming to you as a guest?
He was coming to me, but he did not come to me. He came as government pathology. I received a call from the Minister of Justice saying that your family pathology will be arriving by 7:30 p.m.
But I thought you were supposed to return.
I told him, no, he's not my family pathology. If he is my family pathology before arriving in country, I should be in the know. Every arrangement, I should be part of it. So the arrangement between we and the president was far different from what they did. He was heavily escorted. Meanwhile, they told me he will be arriving by 7 p.m. and will give me ride. How can the government be treating me like that and they give me ride by 7 p.m.? I told them, no, I'm not going anywhere. Now knowing that Michelle was already in Liberia, he was here by 12 noon. And they wanted to take me on the airport by 7:30 p.m.
Oh, okay.
What was their intent? It was Dr. Francis Richardson, the one called me and text me again and told me that Michelle already there by 12 p.m. Everything was done according to their will. That is how they deny Odell DNA result, DNA testing. Why should you come? If you are not capable to do the DNA testing, why should you come? Why you came for? I thought this is the major priority that will make us to know what the cause of Odell's death and who raped her. But Odell today, as we speak, her DNA testing was denied. Then police got ready and closed on the case. Is that truth? Is it possible? Is it possible? Is it possible in any war that there will be death certificate, cause of death, and then stating that this child was sexually violated, /40, and you come and do one and forget about the other, and then he called me on phone, like you were in rush and he came to Liberia, on phone, Madam, your daughter, she died, and I saw her bleeding and asked him one question. I said, Dr. Michelle, where did you see her bleeding? He said she bled from her hair. I said, that is not truth. I got Odell X-ray result. I got the photo when she was in the mortuary. Odell bled for her anus and her vagina. He said, no, that blood you saw, it was running from her hair coming down on your anus. What sense does it make? He was on the next available flat. I already recommended a hospital in America, and the police would send it there to do the DNA testing. If I wanted police involvement, what were you sent for? If I wanted their involvement with any result of my daughter's death, why you came for?
So, Madam Sherman, are you still in the prospect to fast-track your action with the help of justice from Liberia in terms of adjudicating justice or having access to justice as well?
Sure. I'm right now asking God for a grace to give me the strength to be able to stand. And those people that I know that are wanting justice, and they are there for people like us to support. To support us.
Looking at where you've come in terms of seeking justice for your daughter, and where you are right now, from everything that you're explaining, where you're supposed to get help from, which is your church, it seems to be you have been ostracized by the church as well. Is there any hope in terms of seeking justice? And I know you stay passionate want justice for your daughter.
I will be very honest. From the day I was ostracized for justice, I have never gone to any church again anymore. I almost lost my faith. But to God be the glory that I know God for myself before this incident took place. I only pray in my room. I have not found faith with anybody again. But I still know that Odell Sherman will have justice. These times always there. People that you counting on in difficult times like this, they will always let you down.
So are you now a member of the Restoration Baptist Church?
No more. I was the VP for the women wing.
Okay.
I was. But from this case, the kind of treatment that the church gave me, and even took my character as state, said worst thing that I know nothing about. I don't go to church again. A year plus since my daughter died, I've not gone to any church.
But since that time, has your pastor spoken about it, Reverend Gary Johnson?
He never. Until Prime Evan, a journalist called Prince, he also was in the front of Prince Moluba.
Yeah.
Call him over the over with all respond. He himself visited the church campus. Do you know what my pastor said?
No.
I wanted justice for anybody that will rape a mother, but Cynthia got no right to go sit down with students. If this is the key issue we are talking about, if this is what we are talking about, after you promised me, my pastor came to convince me not to talk to the press or anybody. He promised me on a Saturday my daughter was raped and murdered on Tuesday. My pastor, it was just like 5-minute walk from your house to my house. He did not come to see me. He said he was sick. I didn't have a problem with that because I really had love for him. I knew he was sick. I felt he was sick. But on Saturday, when the police spoke was in Moses Carter, temple with my character at first, it was when I chose to speak out. That was the very first day I chose to speak out. I said, if this is going on, I will not wait anymore. Why would Moses Carter lie on me say, I get Guinea to go ahead to take my daughter lifeless body for his compound? And that is not true, so I will not rest again. The ladies that came to visit me from the church that morning, they took the information back to the church compound. When my daughter died, my pastor and I it was that very Saturday he came to me. With pastors and other members. Say, Cynthia, I don't want you to speak to the press.
In order to compromise.
I don't want you to say anything, don't talk to anybody. The church now going to have their own press conference. The church will support you. The pastor that was sitting right on your right hand side, Pastor Sonwa, he said, Pastor Sonwa, now we need to put some money together to give it to Mr. Sherman.
Along Pastor George as well.
No, Pastor George was not there that day. But it was Pastor Sonwa and other members from the church. And we need to put some money together and give it to Mr. Sherman so that he can do the running around. We're going to get counselor now for this case. The only counselor that good for this case is Counselor Tiawan Gogolo. It's good for this case. Granted, I was so happy. That was my reason I was silent for 21 days. But from the day he made that commitment, there was nothing. The church did not spend $5 LD on my daughter's death. A single penny. $5 LD. They were visiting. When I spoke up, he told everybody I'm not safe in the church. Nobody should visit me again because then they will be contaminated.
Wow.
Why should I speak up for justice? I should shut up. And I told him I will not shut up again anymore. Because it had reached to a place that I need to talk. And that place that I reached, I was not going against the will of God. I don't think I was going against the will of God. I only wanted justice. I have not done nothing against the church. Only justice I wanted. The reason why I mentioned the vice president name because she was also in the church. And she's supposed to help me. And she kept silent. And knowing the fact that this person was her first cousin, 2 brothers, children, it hurt me a whole lot. Why was she silent? So I have my right to speak. When journalists asked me, do you know the connection with the vice president and Reverend Guinea? I said, yes. I've lost the connection. And she shouldn't have treated me like that because I've been praying along with her before. I have been leaving my house sleeping on cold ground for her. She shouldn't have treated me like this. So was that a sin that I committed? That you ostracized me and stand on the pulpit and turn the whole church against me? I have not committed one sin against the church.
let's before you know, we're going to hold on. We're going to stop here for today. But I think most of you that are watching right now, you've gotten the picture, especially if this is your first time coming across this story, the whole case issue. You've gotten the gist of it. But Cynthia, before we leave you for today, in terms of where you want this, how far you want this, how far you want to go, are there any plans that you still want to keep pushing? If you are pushing, who is behind you to push you? Say the report in the government is because you're a citizen of this country. This thing happened to you. It should be you plus the government and the accused. What is that?
The government have been prosecuting me. Instead of helping me. All along this case, they have been prosecuting me. Over and over and again.
So you have no hope in the government again?
No. And this allegation now is not against Imaya Guinness alone. The government had denied me justice. For all angles, they have denied me justice. So this is not just Imaya Guinness again alone. It's the whole government. Because this is the whole government that denied Odell Sherman for DNA testing. So based upon that, they deny me justice. And it is only justice that could give me closures. So when my soul still grieving, I'm still feeling hurt, how can I rest? I try to be strong every day. I keep telling myself I can make it. But how can I make it? I know that God will speak to people to help me. I know it for sure. Because when I started this case, I never had a single dime. But with the help of God and with people around, they were able to stand for justice. The level we came, it was not a play even for the president or even meet us. But because of continued to mount tensions, the president was also quiet about this rape and murder case. There was not one single day any government official ever visited me at my home when I was mourning, except for Honorable Rosanna's child, representative from Riverside County. That woman, may God bless us. She was the only person from the government angle that visited me over and over. Even for the funeral, she was there. Even up to now, she's still there for me. She's still calling me and checking on me. May God bless Honorable Rosanna Shaw. This woman never knew me from anywhere. She's not even representative for Mosorano, but from Riverside County. But she stood in the gap as a mother. This is what we are talking about. She left her session and everything. She was with me for the whole funeral. She even went at the cemetery and buried my daughter before she came back home to me. We are looking for these kind of people. We are looking for these kind of people. The whole house, with all the women in the house, they were quiet. Nobody had time. But that lady, she took upon her time and she visited me. She even phoned me 2 psychological counselors to help me out. And she paid them all high end money to consult me through all. They always visited me to consult me. In my difficult times, I can never forget that. That is why I love God so much. Because sometimes the people you are expecting to do those things for you, they are not there. God will bring somebody to do it for you. I have not been knowing Honorable Rosanna Shaw. But during this difficult moment, she knew what this mother was going through. But the whole country was quiet, except for those in the diaspora. And some few journalists that I know today, I can put my hand up for them. And I know about one bad apple that was among those good apples. That took brave and tried to fool me to sign paper along with Imaya Guinness. And I told him that was not right. I couldn't do that. This is not in no sense of doing that. Why should I sign paper with Imaya Guinness to say, Imaya Guinness, you must say on the scene side, let's go against the government? It made any sense? And this journalist was Lawrence Cole from Cool FM. Tried to tarnish the image of Cool FM. Cool FM had worked and worked for this case. They were always there to publish this case. But he got close to me through Cool FM. He was not the one that flagged up this issue. But if you use the influence of Cool FM and they got closer to me and talk some secret information, next day what we are about to do, and you talking up against, he was a bad apple. He was a very bad apple than one good apple. While other people are working to promote justice, he was there denying justice. But to God be the glory that I'm still protected heavily by God himself. Yes.
Cynthia, since we're going to stop here, for you guys that are watching Justice Forum Liberia, what we're going to do is we are in Liberia, so we're going to engage with Cynthia and go back to those of you guys that were once in this case or forefront in this case here. Maybe strategize again for the next move, because as you heard from her, she don't want to rest, but she wants to continue to pursue justice. We know exactly what we heard, how people are involved, stronger people, big people, money people, fighting for justice, especially in the context of Liberia. It's not an easy thing, perhaps, only by the will of God. So we will be reaching out to you guys that we once were together in the chat room to get back to you so that we can discuss it further. Since Cynthia, our mother, our sister, our auntie, still want justice for her daughter. But today we want to end here. Thanks to all of you who joined in, all of you who shared the video, all of you who sat on the platform from the start to now and showing interest as a humanitarian as well. When we are ready, hopefully, we'll get back to you and perhaps whatever way you will come in, we'll let you know. Whatever we'll be doing, Cynthia will be involved. If we set up a chat room, she will be in the chat room as well. But in the meantime, if you do want to get to her, especially if you're in the diaspora also, you can reach out either through me, or you can reach out to her as well through our sister Yasini, Martin, right? Yasini Martin. Any of the two of us, you can reach any of us. We'll be able to connect you with Mrs. Sherman. Until then, we're going to do that as we're going to use the third-party connection for you to get to her. Perhaps some of you are quite humanitarian, and I've been to her help twice now. We've chatted, and I'm so blessed. In fact, I count myself blessed for me to have had the opportunity. Now, all of the month I took advocating for this case from the beginning. I sat there in the UK like some of us, use our platform almost every day. I wasn't sleeping. I was asking questions. I was even writing and asking questions through WhatsApp to the Justice Minister. And there are a lot of names that have been called here today. I'm baffled, especially when you have an institution that's supposed to be there for you. When something happened to you and that institution let you down, forget it. You lost all hope. And the last institution that should let you down will be your church or your mosque, or your imam or your pastor let you down. Forget it. It's like the whole world has just crashed upon you. And so we're going to stop here, and thank you so much for watching. Those of you who want to watch it in private viewing, I'm going to leave the video there before sending it to YouTube, on my YouTube channel, so that you guys can watch it. But again, if you want to get it to her, Mrs. Sherman, you either come to me, pass through me, or contact Yasini Martin, our sister Tushi, on Facebook. Many of you know her anyway. So what I say a big thank you to Cynthia, for being brave today after some time. The case going through our lady to explain it. Your daughter is no longer alive. It's not easy. So thank you very much. May God bless all of you. And may we all continue to champion for freedom for all of us in Nigeria, especially those that are here, the children. But I know, I have tasted it now, I know what is it. To get justice here, I know what is it now. I know, if I even sitting down over there and something happened to them and whatsoever they call me, I am running after justice here. Look, I will have the slightest thought that, especially involving somebody that is connected with another person. And let me share it with you. Yesterday I wanted to do a talk in St. Paul Bridge. I finished with the talk and somebody called me from across the road from the police station. There's a case here. I went there and met this 19 years old who was punched in the eye. Punched in the eye by a son of a counselor at law. But now I'm going to reserve his name because of what happened. If I verify what happened today, last night, then I went to the police station and this little guy was sitting there. His father, who is also counselor at law, was sitting there, has gone to accompany him. In my presence, when I told the officers, I introduced myself. I said, this case here, this particular issue will turn it into a case. And I'm here. In my presence, after they heard from the two parties, the police said, well, we're not going to let you go. We'll put you inside. Tomorrow we'll find out for you to go to court. You know what happened? I just cried. By the time I got home, within less than an hour, somebody, one of the family members of the little girl called me and said, Uncle Max, the guy is out. I said, what? He said, yeah, the guy is out. And certainly so the boy didn't sleep in the jail. He should have slept there. But because the counselor sat there, he denied the little girl and her family justice. For I was tough up. I have to even give her money. I said, go to any nearby clinic in your area before you go home. So it's fighting here for justice. Depending on who is involved, forget it. Somebody will bruise you up and that thing will turn against you.
Sure.
I thought he was lying, but I saw it in my own recently. So thank you guys for watching. May God bless all of you, and may God bless Mama Liberia.